Hi, and welcome to Come Play with Meeples. My name is Joe, and today I'm excited to bring you the new game, Sleeping Gods from Ryan Lankett. Hope I pronounced his name right. This is brand new to me. I just got this in the mail last week, and I'm excited to show it with you. Today we are going to go through this quick start guide. It's got the introductory scenario, and then we'll do the walkthrough as well. I have gone through this to prepare myself, and I've read the rule books. I do feel this introductory scenario doesn't give any real spoilers because it almost resets itself at the end. I will warn you before we go through the walkthrough, as it takes you through your first 2 turns, but you're going to experience that if you get this game in the first 30 minutes, so they're very minor spoilers. However, if you're worried about that, I will warn you before we start the walkthrough. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below if you want me to continue to show you this playthrough. And I will continue it. I'll probably film the next one as I actually start the game for myself as well. But you're not here to hear me talk about this game. You want to see about the Wandering Seas. So let's get started. Welcome back. So we're going to start here with the Sleeping Gods, and I just want to show you that I've already kind of got the game set up here. It is a little bit of a table hog. I'll just quickly show you my table set up here. So here I have the main setup. Over here I've got a box where I put all my little bits in, so it makes it really easy to set up and take down again. Very good idea. Just go to your local hobby store and you can find containers like this. The game comes with this chest here, and it's got a magnetic opening here. And then in here you have your quest and your adventure cards, and then some other event cards. A very nice box. And then over here is where we've got our characters. So there's 9 characters. Captain Sophie Odessa is there in the middle. So I'll just have that off camera. I might switch back to there a little bit later as things happen. And then just over here on the arm of my thing, I've got various cards in that set up. So I felt like this kept it to a minimum, but I'll try to keep the camera right here. I don't usually move the camera when I'm filming, just because I know it can throw people off. So I try to keep that to a minimum. So we are ready to begin Sleeping Gods. Just so you know as well, I did get the, what do they call it, Tides of Ruin expansion. It already comes with the Dungeons expansion, and look at all of these books. These are the story books. I'm never going to show this on camera inside. Look how thick this is, and just loaded with text and story. But I won't show that on camera because I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, so we will start with the quick start guide. Begin here. So it tells you how to set it up and everything else. So I'm not going to do that because it's already set up. Same thing here. So we're just going to go to the story part here. So it's Captain Sophie Odessa, April 27th, 1929. After 8 years of brooding silence, I receive a telegram from my father. Taken ill, come soon. I set out with the crew on the Manticore with a stoic resolve to make it to New York. We were 3 days out of Hong Kong when we got caught in the worst storm I've ever seen. When the sky finally cleared, we found ourselves in strange waters. The horizon was hazy, the only visible landmark a tall rock sticking out of the water nearby. Atop it sat a woman with a nest of gray hair, waving a 10-foot fishing pole through the muggy air. "Welcome to the Wandering Sea," she said. "You might think you are dreaming, but you are not the ones who sleep. The gods of these seas are trapped in a sleep as deep and blinding as death. Their power over this world is dormant, chained by ungrateful mortals. but they have brought you here from a distant world to help them awaken. You must do this if you wish to return home." "The gods?" I asked. "Who else?" the woman cackled. "You must seek their totems, hidden throughout this archipelago. With enough totems, you may wake the gods and they may send you home. A reward for your service. Many have perished trying. You will also likely die, but good luck." I asked where we might find the nearest port, but the woman vanished. We turned north as night fell, 2 days from the journey and the alien world in which we now find ourselves. We did not notice the dark, narrow ship pursuing us until it was too late. Surprised and terrified screams erupt from the crew as bull-headed men poured onto our deck. The monster's eyes burned with hellish flame, and their language was a guttural fit of barking and braying. There was little we could do. They took the ship, and we prayed for mercy with bound hands and bruised heads. So then it says, story and storybook. As you play Sleeping Gods, you will read from the storybook. The story from the introductory scenarios are included here in the Quick Start Guide for convenience. From now on, all stories are written as though you are Captain Sophie Odessa. The active player reads the story aloud. So in this game, you're going to get various quests and written things and challenges. So I'm just going to explain this to you as it goes. So the story continues. You awaken on cold dirt. Most of your crew lies next to you, bound with some crude rope that bites at your wrists and ankles. Your body aches and your clothes drip with dew, but there are no guards in sight, and there are sharp rocks nearby. So then it kind of gives us a choice here, and it says that you can either cut the bindings on the nearby rocks, and you can use Cunning 5, which has this kind of skill right here. And if you fail, you're going to lose 3 health. And it says the rock cuts the rope, but also your skin, and then to turn to 8.1. Or we can wiggle free of the rope's bindings, and we can use Strength 5, which looks like this symbol here. And if you fail, you still get -3 health, and the ropes rip your skin as you tear it off, and then you turn to 8.1. So no matter what you do, you're still going to advance to 8.1. You just hope that you don't fail and have the -3 health. So it says challenges, making a choice. The active player must choose. Cut the rope bindings with a total of Cunning 5, or wiggle free with a total of Strength 5. You may fully read the details above each choice before choosing, but you may make only one choice. This time, cut the rope bindings. So this introductory scenario tells you exactly what to choose as well. So it says use crew members. This choice contains a challenge which you must complete before continuing the story. This challenge requires 5 cunning. The active player may only use skills on their own crew boards and Captain Odessa's crew boards to meet the challenge. I am playing this solo, so I do control all 9, so I'm free to choose whatever I want. This time, place 1 fatigue token on Captain Odessa and 1 fatigue token on one of the active player's crew boards. That also has a cunning symbol. Add the total number of cunning symbols on all participating crew. You now have 2 cunning. So to show you, these here are the fatigue tokens, and each character can have only 2, and then they can't do any more actions. The second one you're going to apply this way, so that way if they are in a fight, they're going to do 1 less damage because they're tired from everything else. And once they have 2, then they can't participate in challenges anymore. So it told us, we'll flip over here, oops. Never tried moving the camera during filming, but I do want to try to do this in 1 take to make editing quicker, because I found the editing took me a long time and I really want to cut that time down, so that way I can actually get more videos out to you. So it told me to put one on Captain Sophie Odessa, because she's got the cunning symbol there. And for me to choose whichever one I want to put it on. Oh, and the book did tell me earlier Mac was supposed to be turned upside down. So we'll put it on Kasumi. Oops. Okay, so that means we have 2 cunning. 1 here and 1 here. So next it says, draw ability card and check fate. So this deck here is your fate deck, along with other things. So when you're told to draw, you're going to get to add whatever number is up here. It'll be 1 through 6, and apparently there's less 1s and 6s. But otherwise they're all the same amount in this whole deck. So you would actually normally get to add that number to your 2 that you've already collected from your characters. However, it says here, now add the ability card from the ability card deck. Add the fate number on the ability card to the total cunning from your participating crew members. If the result is 5 or higher, you succeed and turn to A1. If it is below 5, you fail. This time, let's say you drew a fate of 2. Because your cunning plus your fate is 4, you failed the challenge. Failing challenges. Failing a challenge does not necessarily mean that the story ends. It just means you did a dismal job and must now take consequences. The challenge has a failure consequence of -3 health. The explanation being that you cut yourself on the rock you used to cut your bindings. Place 3 damage tokens on your crew boards. Crew who participated in this challenge must take the damage first. The active player decides how to split that damage. So these things here are your damage tokens. And as you can see on Captain Odessa, she can hold up to 5. So she's going to take 2 because she's the captain, and then Kusami up here will take 1. Now turn to paragraph 8.1 and keep reading. Now free, you peer outside of the wooden hut. Dark pines tower overhead. Near the edge of the brush sits a rough cage made of wooden slats. The door is fastened shut with a mechanism attached to a nearby tree. Inside, a woman lies on her back, her eyes closed. We should get you out, said Kusami. We don't have time, says Raphael. Can I have a say? The woman in the cage opens her eyes and sits up. Name's Mac. I'd greatly appreciate some help. You crack open the crude lock with a rock. As soon as you break her out, you hear a sudden snarl behind you. 2 bull-headed monsters merge from the woods and charge. Combat 1 and 2. Turn to 8.2. Note, you may now turn Mac's crew board face up. You may use her in this combat. So we freed Mac, and she's now joined our crew. The word combat, followed by a list of numbers, indicates that you must defeat enemies before continuing the story. It's time to fight. So it tells us to, this is, and there's a lot of them here, all the monsters that we have. We're not supposed to look at these until it comes time. So it told us combat 1 and 2, so we are to grab cards 1 and 2. So I'm just going to move you back over here. I'm going to just pull this down for now, because we are told to put these out. And in this case, normally you're going to shuffle these up and lay them out in random order, but this time it actually tells us to put them this way. This is important because on this bottom grid here, they're actually connected, so you can do splash damage. And I'm sure these rules are going to explain that too. So retrieve enemy cards 1 and 2 from the enemy deck, place them side by side as shown on the right. Split the combat action tokens between players as evenly as possible. So in this case, I'm all by myself, so I get all 4 action tokens. Okay, and then we're supposed to place the synergy tokens. They look like this on each character's board. And then player attacks. Players may attack in any order. A player attacks by placing a combat action token on one of the crew boards and attacking with that crew member. In this scenario, all instructions for any crew member are executed by the player with the crew board. Place a combat action on Kusami's crew board. So then I just put that on there. She has 1 weapon, the Wixaki. I know I mispronounced that, but it's right there for you. Which has 2 accuracy because of this symbol here. You may only use 1 weapon per attack, and you must declare which enemy you are attacking. This time, choose the Mythian Guard. So this one here. Kusami's weapon deals 3 damage. As you can see, we're right there. You must place all damage from a single attack adjacently, as if it were one blow. You may place it in any direction from any starting square, but not diagonally. The majority of this damage, or at least half, must hit the enemy targeted in this attack, but you may also place damage on adjacent enemies. This is called splash damage. We will show you how this is done. Placing damage on enemy card symbols. You must cover each health or heart symbol on the enemy card to defeat it. So to defeat this one, we have to cover all 4 of these hearts, and this one we have to cover those 3 hearts. Place 1 damage token on the Mythian guard's head. This decreases his health by 1. I feel like I missed a piece. Oh yes, because it said accuracy 2. So again, it's telling us, sorry I missed this part, that you drew a card and you had 3. So you have to match that to their defense here. And if you are equal to or greater than this number, then you get to hit this damage here. So in this case, it's telling us that we get to hit that guard for 3. So again, you use these health tokens, and the 3 comes from there. You must cover each health symbol on an enemy card to defeat it. Place 1 damage token on the Mythian guard's head. This decreases his health by 1. So in this case, it's telling us to put it here. And now we have to be adjacent to that. Each square with an attack damage symbol represents damage the Mythian guard will deal to your crew when he attacks. Place 1 damage on the guard's arm. This decreases his health by 1 more and disables 1 attack damage symbol. So here he would get another one because he'll attack for 3 plus whichever ones are still revealed. So we want to get rid of that while we can. Now deal splash damage to the brute. This is a great way to hit enemies with high enemy defense number. Place 1 damage token on the brute's arm. So we can actually cross the cards and go here and cover that one. This disables 1 attack damage. This square also contains a synergy point, and that's that symbol there. They may share their synergy token with another crew member, giving them a bonus to use in this combat. Share Kusami's synergy token with Mac by placing it on Mac's crew board. So what it's telling us is to move this, because the synergy token, to Mac. What that means is Mac can then use her synergy token to add 1 more damage when she attacks, symbolizing that they were working together in this battle. So now the enemy can counterattack. The Mythian guard now counterattacks. Only the targeted enemy counterattacks, not enemies who take splash damage. Enemies deal damage equal to their basic attack damage, plus any uncovered attack damage symbols on their card. So we covered this one, so it's only going to get the 3. All attack damage symbols on the guard are covered, so deal 3 damage. Kusami has 0 block. Kusami, there. So she takes 3 damage. Place 3 damage tokens on her crew board. So just like that, she's got 4 of 5 damage. Combat continues until all combat action tokens are used or all enemies are defeated. Place a combat action token on Mac's crew board and target the Mythian brute. So we place it on Mac's board there. Draw an ability card. Let's say it has a fate of 3. Add Mac's 4 accuracy for a total of 7. Mac hits with her saber and deals 2 damage from that there. Then, as Kusami's synergy token, use Kusami's synergy token and add 1 more damage for a total of 3. So we'll have the 2, plus we have the 1 from here, so that's now making it a 3. And then that will return back to Kusami. Place 1 damage on the Mythian Brute's head. So it wants us to hit 3. 1 on the head. 1 on the body and 1 on the legs. 1 on the body and 1 on the legs. The head contains a synergy point, so pass max synergy's token to Captain Odessa. Her synergy, because it had the synergy symbol there, and it goes onto Captain Odessa. The Mythian Brute is defeated immediately and does not counterattack. So now we want to place a combat token on Captain Odessa, because now we're making her go. Draw an ability card. Let's say it has a fate of 1. Even with max synergy token, Odessa misses the Mythian Guard. Because she's got 1, she'll use this for 3. However, the guard has a defense of 5. He deals 3 damage, but Odessa has 1 block. And the 1 block here. So then that means we would only place 2 damage on Odessa. So now she also has 4 of 5 damage already. Because she missed, she only deals 1 damage. Place the damage token on the Mythian Guard's mouth and pass Captain Odessa's synergy token to another player. So then we do add 1 more damage to the mouth. And then we are to pass her synergy token. And what's unique about this one is, remember previously you couldn't place them diagonally, but her synergy token allows it. Use the last combat action token to attack with any crew member. At this point, even if that crew member misses, the Mythian Guard is defeated. If the crew member misses, remember the Mythian Guard attacks first. So let's put these away. And we will use Raphael because he's got 3. So then we will use our 4th action cube, attack cube, and we'll put that on there. Not that it really matters in this case. So in this case, we'll actually draw a card. So you can actually see how this will work in real game. So he's got 3. We draw 1 of these cards. It has 3, so that makes a total of 6 against 5. So he's going to hit, and he's going to hit for 2, but he only needs 1. We put that on the guard, on his body. Oh, there it went. And now the book tells us, victory. You have defeated the Mythians. Now continue your story, and to turn to 8.2. So it goes back to the story now. You head down the path to a beach, and the crew mutters relieved oaths at the sight of your ship, the Manticore anchored nearby. When you climb aboard, you find Gloria, the ship's purser, tied up on the quarterdeck. What a lovely trip this has been, she says with a smirk. Mac thanks you for saving her and explains that the gods brought her here as well. I'm from the States, Atlanta originally, but I've been lost for 15 years. I tried to get home, gave up for a while, then tried again. I'm willing to join you, but I lost all the totems that I found. So we're starting from scratch. I can give you some ideas about where to start looking. You nod, then let's get going. Place the ship miniature on the atlas on the sea region containing location 2. So these guys are gone. And we will put these back into the enemy deck, again according to the number, because I guess they could come up again. We will move Raphael back. We'll bring up the map. And it's telling us to put our ship. And because I did the Kickstarter, they gave us a nice plastic ship and already painted too. I really like this. You could have done the metal one as well, but I do believe if you get this in store, it's just going to be a cardboard piece. So into the region with the 2. And regions on the map here are separated by these dashed lines, land, and the spiral binder. So this is one region here. Place the ship board and ship action figure above the atlas, which I already had up there. So now it tells us, and this is what I was saying, that why I don't think that there was any spoilers at this point, because it's going to reset. So it's actually telling me right now, restore all crew health, remove all crew fatigue, gain 3 coins, 1 grain, and starting adventure cards, Gloria, soup, gear, and flapjacks, and gain quests 1 and 2. Return to the ship. So whenever the book tells you to return to the ship, that means you are back into the world and you put your storybook away. So let me do all that first here. I will move you again, just so you can see. So it told me to remove basically everything from these boards. Return everybody's synergy tokens to the correct person. The fatigue comes off. So there, all the characters are reset. Let me just put these things away. Okay, and then it did tell me as well to get a few new things. And even if you don't go through this introduction scenario, they do want you to go through it just so you know the opening story of how we got here and the story about Mac's history. But if you watch this video, you could jump straight into the actual game. Because regardless, you will start with 3 coins. So again, as part of the Kickstarter, got these beautiful metal coins. They're very, very nice. These are basically $1, if you will. And these are $5 coins, so they look bigger. So we put these, I'll move you back. So we put these on the ship board. So it said 3 coins. And again, I also went for the upgrade. You would get cardboard pieces. This was an extra cost as well, but you can actually get little pieces like this. This is wheat. Sorry, grain. Starting adventure cards, Gloria, soup, gear, and flapjacks. So we actually get to start with 4 cards from this deck. So it comes with Gloria Walker, who was the purser. So here you can spend command tokens, which we haven't gotten into yet, to do her ability. Here you can spend a command token to redraw a card. So if it didn't go your way, you have a chance to redo it. Here you can spend a command token and 3 grain, and then you can heal 3 fatigue and 3 damage from any character. And you can even spread that out over characters. Same idea here, 3 of any of the foods. There's the grain, the meat, and the carrots. And then you can take off 3 fatigue and remove 1, what do they call that? I think low morale or something like that. So that can be a condition token that you get. And then that's Gloria again. So I will stick that back up here. And those are your starting cards, and you can know because it says starting right there. All the other cards will instead have a cost for your coins to take them. And then we get quests 1 and 2. So the quest cards, again, you keep them in order in your box there, and then we can flip them over. So this could start to be spoilers a little bit, but you're going to get these ones right away. So basically that's that. So I'll just put those up here for now. So now the book says, at the end of a story and at certain points along the way, you receive rewards and consequences. These are listed in italics and include resources, coins, status effects, damage, fatigue, adventure cards, quests, and more. Follow all instructions before moving on. Return to the ship means that the exploration is over. Pass the captain to the next player in clockwise order. So if you're playing with other players, you'd need to do that. So now it talks about the shipboard. So place the Manticore ship miniature on the atlas. Didn't it already tell us to do that? Yeah, oh yeah, it's explaining what I've already did. So I'm just going to move forward. So then it also tells us, but I had already done that, to set up the event deck. Basically there are 3 types from the backs, and there's many cards. So these here are mild. These ones here are perilous. And we're told to put 6 at random into this deck, and then 6 deadly, and in this order. So they're going to start from easy to hard. Then it tells us to put the market deck nearby. So again, that's the rest of this deck here. And then search tokens. Search tokens were already here. So these will come into play. You'll see them come into play. I kind of explain things when they come up. Then it also tells us to take a journal log book. And that looks like this here. So this is where you would keep track of all the information of your experience. So when you want to save something, save the game for another day, you would fill in the details. And then on the back of every page, and it comes with several pages here, is an overall map of the world that connects right within this atlas. So this atlas, if you remember the old maps, when you get to the edge, it's not the end of the world. It tells you, for example, here to go to page 4. I'm not going to flip it right now, but then you would just move off the east edge here, and you would restart on page 4 on the west side. So it's a continuous map. But yeah, with the journey log sheet, we were to decide if we want to do normal or brutal mode. Normal, you're going to take a penalty if you die, or actually it tells you don't die, you're just near unconsciousness. And then you go to the nearest port and you can keep playing. Brutal mode, if everybody's health is down to 0 or the ship is completely damaged, your game is over. Start over. So you have to make that choice at this point as well. Then it says give every player, so not characters, players, 1 command token and 1 ability card. So these are what the command tokens look like. And you would just put that in your own personal stash. You've already seen some places where you can use it. You can also use it on various, each character's abilities here. So here you need 1, and then you can remove 1 low morale, right? 2 to add 1 more accuracy, and so on. The pieces are limited. So if you're out of pieces in the supply and you're told to draw 1, you can't draw 1. There's no replacements. The only replacement is, of course, damage. If everybody's being hurt, grab something else to indicate damage. So 1 ability card, which is also from this deck, and that's what these bottoms here are. So for example, if I were to have this in my hand, and I can only have 3 in my hand per player, so playing solo, I can only ever have 3 cards. But then I can use these. I'd have to spend 3 command, and I can stick this under somebody's board, and you can see that there's 2 slots here. So now all of a sudden, Audrey here has 2 perception when she's doing a check. And then she also has +1 accuracy. You can only have 2 of those, but you can also get level up cards, like they're cards that you can buy later on. And then it says, you have now completed the introduction scenario. You may now start your campaign. So from this point forward, we're going to go through the walkthrough that's also in this book. It's going to take you through the first 2 turns. I should reset my deck here. But it's going to take you through the first 2 turns of the actual campaign. So if you want absolutely no spoilers, I'd recommend that you first like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want me to continue. But here's your chance to get off if you don't want any spoilers. But if you're still here already by this point, I'm going to assume you want to see the first 2 turns played through, and then we're going to call it a day for today. So I'm just shuffling up this deck here, because now we're going to start playing for real, but following the walkthrough in the book. Okay, so if you're still here, we're going to do the first 2 turns of the walkthrough now. So it tells me the turn overview. So starting with the first player, players that take turns in clockwise order. In this turn overview, we will walk you through 2 player turns. Each turn follows 4 steps, also listed on the shipboard. So you can see here, action Ship action is first. 2, we have to draw one of the event cards. 3, we get to do 2 of these actions, and you can do the same one twice. And step 4 is basically pass over the captain token. So in a solo game, that really doesn't come into play. Okay, so it says here, first player turn. First, the ship action. So it says move the ship action figure to one of the 5 rooms on the shipboard and apply the listed effect. You must move the ship action figure to a new room each turn, so you can't stay in one room and keep going. So it says, this time, place the ship action figure on the deck. So we put him over here to show that we are doing the deck action. And then gain the specified number of command tokens. So in our case, this is a 1 to 2 player side. The other side of this board has 3 to 4 players. So the numbers will be a little bit different if you're playing with a higher player count. So in our case, it shows that I get 2 command from that blue 2 there. So I take 2 command, add it to my previous one. Oh, and I never grabbed an ability card. So the ability card that I should have grabbed is engaged. So I just put that into my hand for now. Then draw 1 search token at a time up to 3 times. So this here tells me these search tokens. You can see the symbol there, it matches that one there. I can grab 1 to 3. So if on these tokens it shows me damage, if I take 3 and there's damage on every single one, I've got to take that number of damage. But at any time I can choose to just stop and take the reward that's shown on one of the tokens that have been revealed. So I'm just going to cut this one more time and we're going to start drawing. So the first one is, so I'm going to get $1 and I'll take 2 damage to the ship already. Well, I don't like that, but okay. So I'll just stop it right there. I will take the $1, put it on my board, and now I have to take 2 damage to my ship. So if you can see on the shipboard here, every area has squares for 2 damage. When there's 2 damage on an area, you cannot go to that area. You can never go to the hull, but that would have 1 spot for damage. So the ship can take 11 damage total. And in order to determine which part of the ship is being damaged, again, you draw from this deck. And you're just going to look at that number. So it tells me 4. So I have to take a ship damage token, which are these red cubes, and put it on the 4, which is in the gallery. And then we draw again. It's another 4. Well, there's no gallery left right now until we get the ship fixed. If I were to draw again another 4, then I would get to choose, because I can't put it back in the gallery, where it would be on the ship. So that was not a good start. So next it tells us to play the event card. So we just grab the top card and do what it tells us. So it says, abandon raft. The crew spots a weathered raft. Search it. Perception 5. If I fail, I take 1 ship damage. And no matter what, I would gain 1 grain. So let me think this one through for a minute. Perception is the eyeball one. And I need 5. So what I'm going to do is I take the fatigue tokens and I'm going to have Lauren LaPointe do this action, so he's going to use his perception there. And I want to take 1 more. How about Audrey here? She helps out with her perception, so she also now takes a fatigue because she's tired after doing this perception search action. So now we draw a card. So we already have 2 of 5. We flip this, we have 4. So that does mean we score 6 of 5, so we succeed. So now there's no ship damage, but we do get to gain 1 grain. So I will discard that somewhere and gain 1 more grain, which goes on the ship. And then that way anybody can use whatever's on the board. So now we get to take 2 actions. So we're into this part here. Perform any of the 2 actions listed on the shipboard. You may perform the same action twice in one turn. So it tells us here, for your first action, explore. This turn, choose explore as your first action. You may choose to explore any location on the sea region occupied by the ship. So in this case, we could go to 2 or we could go to 174. This time, open the storybook to paragraph 2. We're going to go here and follow the stories, choices, and challenges until you are instructed to return to the ship. So I will keep the storybook off camera and I'll just read it to you. So it says here, paragraph 2. Sea foam winds through a maze of mossy rocks on the cave floor. They brush the heel of a smiling skeleton which sits reclined against an old iron door, blood red with rust. So then it says in bold here, you find a skeleton against an iron door at the back of the cave. So my options are A, search the skeleton, and it tells me it's unavailable if keyword pink. So back to these quest cards, we have 2 keywords right now, cottage and raid. So these are the keywords when they ask about a keyword. Sometimes it'll say if you have it, you can do this, or in this case, if you don't have the keyword pink, then you can do option A. Option B is open the door, but that requires the keyword iron. And obviously we do not have that. Or we do have an option C, and that's just leave, return to the ship. So we're here to play a game. So we are going to choose option A, search the skeleton, since we do not have the keyword pink. So then it tells me to turn to paragraph 133. So 133 reads, a bag falls slack from the skeleton's fingers. You expect to collect it easily, but a snake with a milk pink mouth hisses out and fastens to your hand. You whip it by the tail against the wet wall of the cave. So in bold, a snake attacks you as you take the skeleton's bag. So we get -1 health. So in this case, it can be to any crew member. So I am just going to assign it to the one with the most health, and that's Raphael. So he has 1 of 7. We found 4 coins, but we also got bits. We have to take a venom token. So let's first get the coins. We got 4 more coins here. And then the condition token, venom. So -1 health at turn start. So every time a player starts a turn, you have to take a -1 health. So you're going to take a damage every time. So I'm going to assign that to Gregory Little, since he's the medic. And Gregory has the skill to use 2 of the command tokens to remove, weaken, or venom. So I think I'm going to be doing that right away here. But I have to wait till I'm done from the storybook. So then it tells me gain quest 155. So quest 155. And then, so it gives me something new. It just says snake attack. A snake attacked you as we took a bag of treasure from a skeleton. So now we have the keyword pink. So if we were to go back here, we can't again get the treasure. So we just add that to our list there. And then it says return to the ship. So we put the storybook away. And before we do absolutely anything else, I do not like this venom being on one of my guys. So what I can do is I can take 2 command tokens, put it on Gregory, and then he can use his skill to remove the venom. That is not one of the parts of the action things that you can do. You can do that at any time so long as you're not in the middle of something already. So that was our first action. So now it tells us our second action, we are going to choose travel. When you travel, perform a craft challenge. much like it shows with the symbol there. You do not need to use a crew for this challenge, but you may place a fatigue token on one of your crew members to add their crafting skill, if you wish to increase your chances of moving faster. Because the more points that you get, 0 to 3, you can move 1 zone, and so on down the list. 4 to 6, you can move 2 zones. 7 to 8, you can move 3, and 9 plus, you can move 4. So then you can move pretty fast. But it's advising us not to at this point. But only one crew member may participate when traveling. This time, simply draw an ability card and look at the fate number. Draw an ability card, and the fate number is 2. So that puts us in the first range, so we can move 1 zone. This means you may move 1 region. Move the Manticore to the C region containing locations 37, 43, and 54. So it wants us to just move 1 zone to over here. So we move our ship to here. That's travel. So now it tells us end of turn. After you've performed your 2 actions, pass the captain token to the player on the left. That player now starts their turn. But being solo, I don't even have that. So already we're on to our second player turn. So again, we have to start with the ship action. So it says move the ship action to the gallery, which we cannot do. Okay, just for this, I don't think the game was expecting that you'd be blocked from the gallery at this point. So only for this part here, I am just going to move my guy to the gallery just so we can follow what's in the book here. But after this, I won't do that anymore. So it says draw 1 or 2 ability cards. Because of this here, we can draw 1. So we get to actually take one of these and move it into our hand to go with our engaged. And now we drew just a perception. And take command tokens. So here it shows 2, 3, and it's right in line with the 1 and 2 player. So in this case, I'm playing solo, so I only get 2 command tokens. I will add that to my one that's still remaining on the side here. Then you may discard any ability card from your hand to remove a fatigue token from any crew member. So that might be good to just remove one of these cards to remove a fatigue token. And I get to do that because it says that here. So discard 1 card to remove 1 fatigue token. So it's not like you get to do that every turn. So I think I better take advantage of this. So I'm just going to discard that one that we just got and take the fatigue off of Laurent Lapointe. I'll take that off. So he's rested now for the next action. So now we have to draw an event card. So we draw the next card, and it says, Lost Sailor. You rescue a Lucrine sailor who was floating on a piece of driftwood. Ongoing, so that means we keep it beside our ship. Keep this card next to the shipboard. Discard this card when you visit a port. When you have this card, once per turn, you may redraw one of these cards when you're doing a fate check. So that's pretty strong. It doesn't even take a command token. So now it tells me equipping ability cards. At any time, except during combat or challenges, without using an action, you may equip an ability card to one of your crew. Choose an ability card from your hand and pay the listed command cost to the supply and slide that card under one crew board with the bottom half of the card showing. When you equip a card, that crew member gains that skill shown on the card as well as an ability. So the only one that I have in my hand is this one still. So it's going to cost me 2 command. So I have to put those back in the supply on this case. And then I get to put this under one of my character boards. I think I want to put it where I already have a strength So that way I have 2 strength on doing something. I'm just trying to decide which ones I want to do this on. So I think I will put it on Marco, since he already has 1 strength, so he'll just be our strong priest, I guess. So you literally just stick this under the board, and now you see that there's 2 strength. But it also says I can gain 1 command when you explore. Okay, so now we get to take 2 actions. So now it's telling us to take the action market. So that's this one here, because we are in the zone with a market card. So to do the market, you take the top 7 cards from the market deck. 4, 5, 6, 7. And we get to look at these. So what you're seeing here is again cards that would go with that group there. So this is going to give us 3 block. So it's an armor. It's going to cost us $5. We have to use a command token when it comes up, but then it can protect any one of our characters. So here, again, spend a command, cost $2. When you cook one recipe for 1 fewer food token, and do not pay the command cost. So for example, if I wanted to make flapjacks, I could put the command token here. I don't have to pay it here. And then instead, this is 2 instead of 3 to cook that food for that ability. This here, we have an amulet of fox, costs $3. Use a command token to get 2 more accuracy when you're fighting. Here you got another recipe for $2. You would have to use 2, what is that, wheat? For 4 health. That's pretty good too. Here, hull plating, $4 to get 1 more block on things. Here it costs $3. Spend lots of food and get lots of things. Wow, pot roast. We found another gloves, cost $1 for 1 block. And we're back to our options here. So I have a total of $2, $4, $6, $8. And I will decide what to spend it on. Okay, so I'm going to spend 5 to get this armor. So it's going to cost me 5, but I'm going to buy a second card too. You can buy as many as you can out of those 7 with the coins that you have. So I'm also going to buy this cookbook just to make it cheaper to cook things. So that's a total of $7. 2, 4, 6, 7. And then I add that to my list of cards over here, and this is going to get, and this is why this is such a table hall game. Let me see if I can't zoom you guys out a little bit so you can see the new cards there. And I put the $7 back in the supply. The rest of these cards that I didn't buy, they are to go on the bottom of the market deck. So now it's telling us for the second action, we should travel. Look at your starting quest cards 1 and 2. Quest cards can guide you towards finding totems. Note, not all quests lead to totems, but many do. This turn, choose travel as your second action. Heading north will lead you closer to both of your quests. Perform a craft challenge and attempt to move north to the region of 63. So it wants us to move up to here. So I don't really see a need to use one of my characters because I'm at least going to score a 1. I scored a 2, so that's 1 zone. I can move the manticore up to here. However, there's a hazard sitting right there. This region contains a hazard. When you move the strength to this region, ship to this region, you either need to complete a strength 5 challenge or take 1 ship damage. You can choose to skip the challenge and take 1 ship damage. If you fail this challenge, you take 1 ship damage. So we will try to succeed on this. I will use Marco. So I have to put a fatigue token on Marco. I'm using Marco because, as you remember, I just showed you, so I'm not going to show you again. He already has 2 strength. So now I'm just looking for 3 or better. and it's a 6, so I didn't even have to use Marco. So we succeed, so then we don't take the ship damage. We got through this hazard just fine. So finally, to end the second player turn, end of turn, now your turn has ended. Pass the captain token to the player on the left. That is the entire book of the Quick Start Guide Begin Here. Introduction, scenario, and the walkthrough of your first 2 turns. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. If you would like to if you'd like me to continue with this playthrough, please let me know in the comments below. And then I hope to see you the next time here on Come Play with Meeples.